Here we go. All right. So what's different? What's new? What's happened? Arnold Expo was this past weekend. So what I did, I basically condensed all my training into 4 consecutive days. I'm only like for a number of reasons, but also because again, like being out of my element. I've done it before. Like if I'm competing, if I'm like on season, like I'll definitely figure out a way. Hit the ground, grocery store, find like the Airbnb that's closest to a gym, get it in at 5, 6 in the morning, something like that. But not this time. There's again, like obviously if I have athletes there, networking absolutely, but then also I've made some friends over the course of the last few years in this industry, and I don't get to see them as often as I like. So rather than small talk in between sets, I'd much rather, yeah, just not train and hey, meet up with him and catch up on things. Hey, I've been using these split squats instead of squats of late. Look at that heart rate. I don't like the way I look with these, but anyhow, they get your heart rate going, and not a huge fan of that, but it's kind of nice in a way. Nevertheless, something about like I just don't look good with these. I look different than, and I have like I'd say decent squat leverages, but I don't like the way I look on most squat patterns. Most squat patterns, I'm like, whether it's a hack squat, leg press, it just looks weird on me. Presses, rows for sure, they look great. Like everything's just like, oh, that's how it should be, but not like any sort of squat pattern. So anyhow, a lot of this is kind of B-roll today, I'd say. Nothing exciting this week. It's early in this like, reload up. So what I did want to bring up was, you know how this is. It's like this is for the hardcores, the folks that like to train, the undergrounds, right? And today we were having I did do this thing again, the single arm row. By the way, no thumb, just feels better. Like I have crazy ass grip, to be honest. So no straps, no nothing, and no thumb, and I feel like it just stacks me up better. This is kind of replacing that chest supported row that I was using with the cable systems. Since I was coming in at different times to get the training in, it was just too much of a hassle to get all that out and get in people's way. So I just did this instead. But you guys will see what row I'm talking about that this replaced in a few minutes here. But yeah, this is all just something for me to talk over. So we were having a meeting, a Team 3D Muscle Journey meeting. We have those every other Tuesday, and Eric was bringing up how he chilled out on his social media in regards to like how much time he allows himself to be on there and poke through things. And one of his reasons was, and I was like, ooh, there's something here. You know how it is. It's like a 614 barbell. I did get to go there, so I did get to record a tiny bit. Like last day, this was right before I headed to the airport. Got to train with Amanda from our team. Yeah, our Amanda, Team 3DMJ Amanda, and then my brand new client, Katie Ann, who a lot of you guys might know is dual athlete. She went both ways. She did the powerlifting at a super high level, and last time she competed in 2017, she basically cleaned house and was a world champion in two federations. So anyhow, got to train with both of them. This was cool. This was a cool day because things got to kind of slow down, and I got a little session in just torso for the most part, and then instead of having 2 upper body days, I'll come in and I'll do shoulders and arms at some point. So just a little something. I didn't want to go too hard, and if anything, I kept it a little bit more conservative than I usually would. But anyhow, let's go back to what we were talking about. You are going to see a PR here by Katie, so kudos to her. She just started high bar squatting. She was low bar squatting previously. Well, like her best squats were low bar. But we got her doing this, and man, looks really good on her. I don't expect every week to be excellent, but more often than not, I think this is gonna treat us well. So yeah, let's get into the lesson of the day. So Eric, he chilled out on his social media time, and when you think about it, like what's going on when you're going through your phone, right? It's like just all these flashes of information, short attention span type of materials being released and coming at you from all sorts of directions. So it can negatively impact our ability to focus, for longer periods of time. And this was today, by the way. This is my warm up, and it got me thinking about I'd say that over the last 4 years, as especially I think Instagram is just kind of blown up, and the story features just like right, a flash of different things going through your mobile device. I feel that my focus, especially in the gym, and when it comes to let's just say like your normal computer sit down task, has been altered, and I want it back, especially the training bit, because the computer work, since I usually assign myself times in which like this has to get done, like okay, in the next 2 hours you have to respond to these emails and like extend these 4 programs or something like that, and say if I give myself a deadline, it gets done. But with training, I've definitely noticed that one thing, and this is like one thing that I think early on when I first started training, even though I didn't necessarily always take the best approach, I didn't know what was best all the time. That's the one thing I had, was everyone in the gym just looked to me like they were sleeping. And I'm not just talking about the casual gym goer, right? I'm talking about the person that went in there to do work. Like, to me, I felt like I was moving at the speed of light, and they were just kind of like frozen, right? But they were moving at regular speed, right? I've seen that in a movie once or twice. But yeah, I feel like that's something that should be, like, we talk about the mind-muscle connection in bodybuilding, right? And I do feel that someone's ability to focus on like what you're doing, like all the great athletes know how to zone in like that, and they know how to do it like that. And honestly, I'm gonna check myself, and I think the last few years that it has slipped. I still think I zone in better than most, but I go back to like year like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it was different level. It was way different level. So like something to ask yourself. It's like how, because think about this, like just think about this. Like I think we're all guilty of this. You're doing something you're supposed to be doing, and then what do? Ooh, pick up the phone and we scroll, right? When you're doing your sets, are you mentally scrolling through something else? Ask yourself that. Be honest. And that's something that, I think it's not horrible, but it's not where I'd like it to be. And it's something that I think the next few weeks we're really, really going to work on. So this whole training session today, again, it was like an ease back into a training session. Nothing too out there, because again, I haven't been able to do a squat pattern in PC set. My good mornings have been sensational. Like 275. I did 295 for sets of 15. I wouldn't recommend that to anyone, but that's what I feel so comfy with that movement that it was nothing. So the back is okay when I'm not, and without a belt, I can't good morning because of the lower back with a belt. So 295 for sets of 15. But yeah, this one was chill, but the whole time I had my pods on, but it was just white noise the whole time. And it was amazing. Like that was my inspiration, my what I wanted to accomplish during the session is think about nothing but the work that I had to do. So don't think about the stuff that I have going on outside of the gym. Don't think about like who I might have to like respond to. Don't think about the next exercise, the next set, but focus on this rep, that rep, and just really get locked into what I was doing. And again, this was kind of a build things back up kind of day. Just my first session back at home from after traveling, but one thing, so I didn't really get to do anything that I hadn't done. I think the leg extension went quite well, but there's no landmark sets today. However, like the feeling after this day was amazing. So when I was done with this, I was able to go and do the things that I wanted to do, and it was it's like the focus carried on. It's like, I got so much more out of this training session by just, again, zoning in that way, that like afterwards, I went and hit up some work in the cafe area here, and it was like the same thing. So yeah, I guess the it's like I sound like your sixth grade teachers. Like, pay attention to what you're doing. Again, that's just something that, like, the athletes that just are amazing. It's just the one thing I've seen, like, that they have in common is like their ability to just focus. Like, we've all seen those people who, maybe it's a friend or maybe it's another athlete that we know, someone who, like, who is about this, or at least trying to be about this. But when you see them train, it's like, you're not paying attention to what you're doing. So I think it's something that, we talk about form, we talk about programming, and perhaps it's something that, we can aim to get better at. I think it's something that people don't think to focus on. Is like, I'm going to get better at focusing on the work that I have to do. And this is even for the people who have like that focus. Like, it's like anything else. It's like, even if you have wonderful form, that doesn't mean like, hey, you shouldn't try to get even better at that. So yeah, that's that going forward is going to be my it's going to be my focus, is to just increase my level of focus in the gym. And it might mean that I have to be a little bit less chatty. That's okay. But yeah, I remember, the Bert of 10 years ago, and like, that dude, man, like, yeah. I would meet people outside of the gym, and like, even some pretty honeys sometimes too, right? And they'd be like, hey, hi. And I'm like, who are you? They're like, I go to your gym. And I'm like, oh shoot, I feel rude. But I didn't know who was there half the time, Doesn't mean I wasn't polite to people, like, hey, you can work in, hey, how many sets do you have? No rush, right? But I was so locked in, I was there to do what I needed to do. And it was always like one set at a time, one rep at a time. And yeah, no mentally scrolling through my phone. So anyhow, that's what it is. Don't scroll through your phone. The phone up here while you're training. Yeah, so I guess I thought I was gonna be able to fill out all this time with the yap, but I guess everything else is going fine. I look freaking weird, man. Just not carved up. And when you're flat-ish, that was hilarious. My legs were dead. This was like set 3, so I had to lower it and then get back in there. So this replaced the split squats because those things look weird on me. This did the job, but I'll try squatting this next week. Those pin squats. So flat and fat looks weird, and I definitely didn't eat enough while I was out there. So, we'll regain our fullness these next few days and look better. But you know what? In terms of the gaining, I don't know. I've been thinking of cutting this short by like 3 months, but I'm gonna give it at least 6 more weeks. 6 more weeks. I have 12 more weeks scheduled of this. I'm gonna give it 6 more weeks to see if I'm able to, in a comfortable way where it's not too invasive to everything else in my life, continue to gain slowly, very slowly. And if not, I'll press the cut button just a few weeks early. And you know how it goes. It's like, hey, I'm like mid 190s right now on a good day. If I, come down to 180, for example, it's easier to make someone who's 180 gain as opposed to someone who's 195. Hey, look, to me, I look like a blob. But And I know it's a mental thing, but I mean that not like no, I like the way I look. I'll go to your pool party and I'll take my shirt off and flex and wiggle the pecs, absolutely. But it's just it's definitely bigger than I'm used to, softer than I'm used to. But again, it's not that. It's more so. It's just that it gets old. It gets old. It gets as old as like dieting. It's a different sort of. I'm disciplined when it comes to the eating. So we'll see. That's probably the only thing that's kind of been on the mind. But everything else is good. Again, good mornings have been awesome. My hamstrings are probably the one thing this off season that is just, whoa. They're going to look so different this next time I compete. Way less inverted. So I can't wait for that. But no, that's what I got for you guys. So hopefully, again, I got to train the first half of my lifting like without like a lot of the distractions, a lot of the electronic distractions that we have today, and they impact everyone more than Eric's like it impacted me, right? So they impact everyone a little bit more than we like to think, and so some advice for you, young folks who's trying to get theirs, and it's an environment that's not always conducive to that Zen focus that you do need in order to be great at anything, not just lifting. So yeah. Again, guys, so much love. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. All the folks who came up to me at the Arnold and were like, I love the 3K series. Been following you since like 2000. Yeah, it's overwhelming, man. So that's why I'm here. It's almost midnight, but I got to upload this because, hey, you guys matter to me. And you guys freaking listen. And that's why you guys rock. And I'm not always right. But I'm just like you guys, I'm getting better over time. So I'll leave it at that. All right. Much love, folks.